You all. I'll try and keep my comments as brief as possible. Broadly speaking, I wish to make 2 points. Firstly, I think this particular event is a cut above all other events when it comes to addressing what has been happening in Sri Lanka, not only during the last stages of the war, but also ever since the British left Sri Lanka and handed over power to the Sinhalese. It's different because if you've seen the recent dialogue that has been taking place internationally, that dialogue has been very specific. The international community has been only interested in talking about war crimes that have been taking place only in the last stages of the war. And that is since January 2009 till May 2009. Whilst those crimes were being committed, and whilst we as former members of parliament and members of parliament at that time engaged with the international community, we were given 2 assurances. One was that if there was a bloodbath, the Tamils were given an assurance that there will be very serious consequences for the Sri Lankan state. The second assurance that was given was that the LTT, in the eyes of the international community, being a terrorist organization, once that organization is taken out of this picture, the Tamil people's struggle for their rights will be recognized and there would be peace. I think both these assurances today has to be called into question. Firstly, what we know is that war crimes, focusing on war crimes is, or rather purely focusing on war crimes is actually very counterproductive. 3 years after the war finished, where there is no war, so obviously there is no war crimes, crimes are still being committed against the Tamil people. We, as a party who worked with the most affected and the most oppressed people in the Vanni, which is where the final stages of the war took place, today are in fact telling us that they feel that they rather should have died in Mullivaikal than live the life that they're living today. Such are the crimes that are being perpetrated against those people today. So talking about war crimes is actually immaterial in today's context. While certainly we need to address the most heinous crimes that took place during the war, if we don't widen our ambit, then we will be failing by those people today who still are being massacred, who are being destroyed, their livelihoods are being destroyed, their very existence is being called under question. In that sense, I think this conference is a cut above all others, because we have not only Tamils from the island of Sri Lanka who are here, but we also have Tamils from Tamil Nadu and Tamils from all over the world. So in that sense, I believe that this is a landmark, and I would like to congratulate the organizers for this event. Secondly, whilst we have got here today and we have pronounced to the world that genocide should be investigated, and that is in fact what is taking place, we must also understand what that genocide is. It is not a genocide against a religious group. It is not a genocide against some other ordinary group. It is a genocide in that it is a systematic dismantling of the existence of the Tamils as a nation in the island of Sri Lanka. It's nothing else. Now the international community might not want to accept it as a genocide, firstly. Secondly, the international community will also hesitate in recognizing the fact that we are a nation in our own right. But that does not mean that we should not say what is actually happening. And in that sense, in another sense, I think this conference has become an immense success. So tomorrow, I believe that the participants will be hoping to get together and forge a program for the future. And in that future program, I think it is quintessential that we include a political process for ourselves with regards to how we are going to engage the international community. Because during the last stages of the war, the international community gave us assurances. We need to hold those assurances and the international community account. And that process can only happen if we accept that the Tamils are a nation and they have to be recognized in their own right as a nation, and in essence make whatever steps the Sri Lankan state is doing today, which is to dismantle the nation, irrelevant. If that does not happen, today's exercise will also be an academic one. Thank you very much.